it's live, so remember that when we get started. All right, good evening, people. This is WTF America, the show where ordinary people talk about the week's events. Bring your opinions, bring your convictions, but respect other people and have a valuable conversation and do some contributing. Joining me this evening on this tabletop is Anthony. He is an emergency services worker from New York. And Phil, he pretends to be an IT guy up in D.C. working with the agencies. Gentlemen, good evening.
Bye.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon.
And good night. Is that your sexy voice? Does that help your wife?
My wife says it's my sexy voice. She don't like when I talk to other women like you, Charles.
Oh. It's because you just got to have game, and we know you don't.
That's it. I'm an old married man. I have no more game.
You wouldn't believe it, actually. When we were out at Boeing, he was always the person who was like, "Oh, I got game. I got all kinds of game. All kinds of game." He was always talking to every woman out there. He thought he was smooth, and every single woman was like, "I hate that guy.
I hate that guy. Yeah, I'm that guy now.
I hate that guy."
I gotta tell you, after getting married, it's even easier.
Isn't it though? It's like they're attracted to the.
They see that ring and they're like, "Ooh."
Like, oh man, that means he's probably got a job.
Yep.
Yeah, and a house.
And commitments, and I get to ruin it all.
No,
Yes.
See, what it really means is we've got debt, and we've learned how to manage said debt. That's all that really means in this country.
Pretty much.
Well,
Then we've learned that she's always right, and if I want to be happy and do what I want to do, I will say yes, dear.
Oh, we saw. Did you see? There was this meme that my wife actually sent me on Facebook, where it was like, he comes up to his father and says, "Dad, I'm thinking about asking this girl to marry me," and his father looks at him and says, "Say sorry." He said, "What?" He said, "Say sorry." He said, "I didn't do anything." He said, "Say sorry." He said, "No, I didn't do anything." He said, "Say sorry." He said, "Okay, I'm sorry. Now what am I apologizing for?" He said, "Congratulations, you've gone through training. Now you can be married."
This is true. This is true.
So what we're going to do for this episode, guys, is our jump-off point, and jump-off points are basically the week's events, and the major event that happened this week is the GOP debate. We had the undercard debate that went significantly longer than I expected it to. Like, I almost fell asleep.
I didn't even see it.
You didn't see the undercard? Oh, you didn't miss anything. It was blah 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 Donald Trump blah blah Donald Trump. It was Donald Trump really doesn't even have to. He's
not even in the undercard. He's in the mainstream one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is he doesn't even have to campaign anymore. Everybody else is talking about him. So
Yeah.
he's good to go. But
because they had that weird dude all the way to the left, and I had no idea who he was with the weird, crazy, giant fingers.
That was Baba Booey.
Who?
Yeah. That dude.
Was Baba Booey.
I don't even know who that cat was.
I don't know if he was he's what you consider to be the old school regime. He never really answered a question. So.
Well, to me, I don't know. This one.
I would have rather seen George Pataki, and it's not just because I'm from New York. It's just.
Did you just say you're going after Pataki? Is that what
No,
you
I said I would have liked to have seen him on there. If they're gonna put some no name up there, put him on there.
Well, wasn't Pataki? I think was on the undercard, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's never gonna make the mainstream.
He's never going to make that. No, the underdogs. If you watch that portion of the debate, the underdogs were just flat out. They were. Hey, I get to argue. I get to fight. I get to do whatever it is I want to do. I can pretty much say whatever I want on this platform, and millions of people are watching me. I know I'm not going to be president. They know. I'm not going to be a running mate. I'm not going to be anybody's first choice for anything. So I'm just going to say what I want to say. And it was kind of sad. I can't remember. Is Rand Paul in the lower?
No, Rand Paul is definitely in the main.
He's in the main fight, isn't he?
He's in the main. He's one of the first. He's in the main, but he's only 2 or 3% or something.
Yeah. Well, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with, we're going to pick a point. If you got a bone of contention of something that started in that GOP debate that you feel like, hey, you know what? I don't understand what's really going on here. Go ahead and start talking about it. So, Anthony, since you are men who are currently serving in your emergency duty capacity, I'm going to let you go first and saying, you watched the debate, you saw it, and who stood out most for you? What was the most interesting, most out there, completely crazy thing you got from the debate?
Actually, to be honest with you, I didn't see crazy. I just saw that they all kept repeating the same thing. The two to three Senate guys that actually sit on the thing argued back and forth like they were on the Senate, which was great because then Chris Christie was like, look at these two morons here. This is how it is at the Congress. They get to argue and point fingers, but they never actually have to make a decision.
And they never get to do anything.
Exactly. They don't even really have to show up.
Well, I mean,
and they still get paid.
Right, and
years after their service.
And I got the idea. I mean, Trump was very subdued.
Which was kind of a shocker. That was kind of an interesting thing.
Because, I don't know, the Rubio guys, a lot of people like him. I'm not a big fan of him. I like that Fiona chick, Carly Fiona. She's got a lot of good points. I don't see her as a front runner. I'd see her as maybe like the vice president.
Well, that would make sense. I mean, between everybody that's on that stage, Trump and Trump and Fiorina, they've got the most I'm not like all these other politicians up here kind of thing going on. And I think that was what what's his name from Jersey, his
Chris he said the same thing. He's not exactly part of the regime.
Yeah, he was like, you know what, this is how it is every day, and we need to get away from that. But what shocked me was, like you said, Trump, and you know what, let's Fiorina or Carly there for a minute. There's something about her. There's something about the way that she presents herself that I'm like, you would either A, piss someone off, or B, get so pissed off that you'd need to be controlled about something. And I don't. It's not because she's a woman, because I feel that she's completely capable of doing those different things. But there's something in her. Like every time you touch on that HP thing, and she has rung that bell to death. When the NSA called, when the NSA called me at HP, I diverted truckloads of hardware, and I'm like, wow, that's going to be a problem for someone like me. You just openly told the world that the NSA's
use HP.
Right, you use HP hardware, but I mean that doesn't really bother me. It's that you support that level of surveillance.
My question was, did she vet that stuff before she started running her mouth?
Of course not. She dropped that dime in a heartbeat.
So now I bet you there was like 15 hard drives that were just burning and out in the field somewhere.
I mean, oh, see, and I'm chewing. I mean, she turned around, and like I said, she says it all the time, over and over again. But the portions that came out and that whole debate was, we have to support and we have to defend against these terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I having
What's up with this carpet bomb? I mean, that's the same thing as calling a rifle an assault rifle. I mean, there's no such thing. You're not carpet bombing.
I think what the media is doing,
they want to bomb like Vietnam.
Yeah, well, the media is only trying to instill fear.
Yeah. Although I do got to say, after seeing a whole bunch of them, both the Democrat and the Republican, because I've been watching them both, being that CNN is owned by Ted Turner and he has pledged his undying love to that idiot Hillary.
Now wait, you can't call Hillary an idiot. You can't call her.
You can call her a criminal.
Ethical. You can call her all other stuff. But seriously, think about this. Hillary Clinton and the Clinton family have become the political mafioso. Okay, they can do no wrong. Like literally, this woman made a joke about her email server and all the emails that got wiped off her server, and was like, "You mean like wipe it with a rag? Come on." And I mean, it was blatant that she lied. It was blatant that she didn't care. And she's Hillary. I mean, if you watch her on the stage, anytime somebody starts talking, she's like, "Look, I don't even really know why you're here. Or the look on her face is, you're only here because I had to make it look like somebody else might get this nomination."
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, as I was saying, they were very tasteful this debate, and they were at several others. Because I've watched several other debates, and they started off by like just hammering them like with insults and not even a question. And then
the GOP.
Yeah, when they were asking, when you watch some of the other debates, they're like, "You said this, and this," and it was from some source or something, and they're like, "You have no idea what you're doing with this, and this. Now, what would you do if world hunger came about in our country?" And it was like, I ended up turning it off for the first couple debates. This one was actually really good because they actually, asked questions.
Points.
Yeah, they didn't just put their own political views in it. Like, you could tell where they belonged or who their allegiances were when the way they asked questions with the other debates. Which is why the GOP would be like, well, none of you are voting for us, so shut up.
Well, I mean, the what I've noticed at this last one is as we get closer to the caucuses, as we get close to Iowa and all those other ones, they are actually starting to begin to focus on more of the real kind of issues. And I mean, they really, this time they didn't have the opportunity or the luxury of not doing anything. I mean, we had just had San Bernardino, we had just had the president come on national television.
But nobody actually said anything. When you actually read or listen to what they said, they didn't. None of them said anything. I mean, Bush every 5 seconds, we need a serious plan and a serious guide. That's all he said.
In the earlier debates, yes, because they didn't have to.
No, he did this one.
He did. Yeah, I did see some of that, but not all of it. But yeah, I do agree with you. He was still trying to say what we really need, but not saying what he's saying. We need something, but I don't know what we need.
Do that. Come out with something.
Yeah.
Oh wait. So you're saying what's the solution to this global terrorism? Is that what you're looking for? Is the plan that they were putting out?
Well, he was saying we need a serious plan. I know he's not going to put out any top secret plan he might be coming up with, but be like, don't say a serious plan. We need to look at this. We need to coordinate with the following. We need to sit with our generals. We need to bring some of our generals back. Like there was a couple. I don't quote me on who said it, but they were like, we need to bring back our A-game generals like Petraeus and our war generals, not the ones that are just saying, oh sure, whatever you want, President.
You know who said that?
Nope.
Donald Trump.
But I think you guys are still missing. There's something else that's going on with the ISIS guys too.
What?
The cartel is after ISIS.
Yeah.
Did you not hear that?
The drug cartels?
The drug cartels and the mafia has pledged their undying support. They said that the ISIS wouldn't step foot into New York without their.
Do you know why?
Yeah, because it's fucking with their drug trade and fucking with their business. They don't give a shit until it fucks with their business.
So they had a drug shipment, Charles, headed out toward the Middle East, and the ISIS coalition, you could say, interrupted and destroyed El Chapo Guzman's drug shipment, and that was not good for ISIS. And how?
No, wait. Hold on. Back the crazy bus up just a little bit. You're saying that ISIS intercepted and destroyed a drug shipment destroyed it.
Yes.
Now,
where'd you get that one? Because I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, I need to know. I need to get some. You're gonna have to back that one up with some facts.
Did you not read the news last week?
I didn't read the news last week. I mean, I get a lot of news, but I didn't hear anything about drug cartel drug shipment being seized by ISIS, because it would bring to me that would bring up a very, very, very interesting point. I mean, it's okay. This is ISIS. ISIS wants to, from the perspective of the mainstream media, ISIS is this evil group that just wants to kill literally everyone that doesn't pledge their undying faith to Allah. Now,
they want to do that, and they're making their money off of oil, but they're also making it off of drugs.
They're making it off of opium. All right, so let me give you the scenario here, or the short end of the stick. So Guzman escaped prison.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the most James Bond way possible.
Yeah. Anyway, somehow Guzman had, and you can look this up. You just go type in Guzman and ISIS.
Doing it.
He wrote an email to the leader of ISIS.
Now, here's my question: how come he has ISIS's leader's email, but apparently the FBI or three-letter government?
Question that needs to be answered.
Here we go.
He wrote, "You guys are not soldiers. What you are is a bunch of bad words. You interrupt my drug shipment one more time, and your God will not be able to stop me."
Snopes has it as, contrary to multiple news reports, Mexican drug cartel leader El Chapo has not threatened to wage war against ISIS.
That's something else. That's what I like. You got to actually go out and fact check. See, people are not doing that.
It was on Channel Fox News also.
Yeah, you can't really. I wouldn't buy.
Washington Times, the New York Post, Forbes, and Fox.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is these people is the mass media right now? And I mean, yeah, I'm on Snopes right now, and they're saying, yeah, it didn't happen. It's false. But
how do you know that?
first and foremost, well, I don't know, because I'm getting it because it's on the internet, therefore it must be true.
Exactly.
Well,
But
hold on.
wait. But
So
let's put the math together. Hold on a second. Let's put the math together for a second. Why would a known leader of a drug cartel contact the known leader of what is now the largest military group in the Middle East right now, who's gaining support, who's apparently infiltrated every country on the planet? Why would he call them and threaten them? Why would it be developed to get behind them? I mean, this is just an example. This is just an example of telling a story to be telling a story and getting the headlines, and that's a problem. You know, this is the whole point of WTFA right now is to get people to actually have this conversation and to bring things like this up. Is, hey, look, I find it hard to believe that El Chapo got involved and was
This all started in someone writing a satire on a website that frequently publishes fake articles and was picked up by genuine news.
Yeah, and it happens all the time. It happens all the time. Like I saw something on Facebook the other day about this Denver police officer who apparently woke these homeless people up in Tent City out there in the middle of a blizzard to kick them out of their tents because they were living in tents and they were warm and all this other stuff. But he woke them up and kicked them out, and everybody was enraged and their hands were up and they were all mad and pissed off at what was going on. And then you go and you watch the video, and it's like a busted '90s like old Crown Victoria that clearly is missing paint and, you know, everything. It's unmarked, it doesn't have anything on it, there are no lights on it, and then dude gets out of his car and he's a straight up rent-a-cop. You know, everybody ignored it. Nobody went looking for the original information, so you got to dig a little deeper here. Now,
okay.
I mean, I would think. I mean, don't get me wrong. It makes good headlines. It's very entertaining to hear that the drug cartel is now coming after ISIS. You know, but we still haven't answered the question of what is ISIS? What is ISIS doing wrong? Like, what is it? What is it that has got the entire planet, that has all of these people, like, after ISIS?
They're doing anything wrong.
I mean, honestly,
honestly, they're doing They're doing what they need to be doing to get what they're getting.
Well, I mean, they're.
Hold on. What now? Who's not doing anything wrong?
Not on a moral front, but on a war front, on a social front. They're doing everything they're setting out to do. They're getting everybody's attention. They're getting nothing but headlines. They're getting more donations. They're getting more people to come to their side because we're publicizing it.
And the more we talk about it, the more headlines, the more crazy stuff that happens, the more ISIS is going to be like, look, we got more girls from Nebraska joining our team.
Exactly. You know, come on in. If you're a disgruntled young man, you're not doing too well with ladies, we will get you a lady or two.
And that's the other thing that's going on right now is we live in a country where people's voices aren't being heard, and ISIS is offering that to people. So you got people who are jumping ship. They're going to fight with ISIS and to join this ideology. But we still don't understand what ISIS is. What is ISIS doing? Why is ISIS like I asked somebody the other day, one guy, it was funny to me because I love talking to these guys, and it's actually, I'm gonna probably put a portion of this in like a segment or something. The Facebook comment of the week. I had a guy who posted up something on Facebook about killing everyone ISIS, and I'm like, okay, explain this to me. Why do you want to kill everyone ISIS? He was like, because they attacked us. I was like, there has been zero ISIS hit America, go get America, we did that attacks on American soil. Zero. None. Absolutely none. Like, everybody's like, oh no, they're all, this happened and that happened. Well, no. You dig down to it, none of those attacks actually happened with ISIS saying go and do this. So who's fighting who and for what reason?
Well, that's like another Facebook post I actually put on my page. It showed all these people yakking about how they're going to go kill Muslims and this and that, and then under the bottom it showed guys like us, soldiers, saying well then sign up. It's like,
yeah, they're
put your money where your mouth is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't really want to sign up for the long term,
they just want to be Facebook heroes.
Well, the propaganda machine is running at full force.
And I love the propaganda machine, but we're getting our ass kicked in it.
Well, no, who? America? Who is?
Yeah.
Why is America getting their ass kicked in it?
Because we're losing the propaganda war.
Well, no. I mean, you got to look at it from a different perspective. Yes, everyone else has always been very, very, very good at propaganda. America tries, but America has something very powerful behind it that none of these other people do, and that's the mass media. When you own the news outlets, when you own a trusted source, like look at it, like Phil, he was ready to defend this. Hey, El Chapo, whatever, just tried to declare war on
I
them.
mean, that's what I did before I got out. The last bit was I did psychological warfare, and we were doing some good stuff when we were in certain countries. It was just we're not doing it now.
Well, with psychological warfare,
It's marketing.
it's marketing.
That's all it is.
It's changing people's ideology. Would you agree?
Right. Behavior. It's a little harder to do than go shop here. It's just
Yeah, yeah. So that's the only way you will really beat
we used,
any
to have, we used to
ISIS.
have good sayings because they'd always say we want to win the hearts and minds, and I'd always say, well, if you got them by the balls, their hearts will follow.
And hold on. You bring up a good point. I was listening to the Howard Stern show the other day.
He's still on.
Oh yeah, he's on
he just signed a new contract. He's going to be
Oh.
on.
a 5-year deal with Bob
Yeah.
Abu.
I didn't mean to make us go crazy off the wall here, but okay. So you're listening to Howard Stern.
Howard Stern, yeah, he's a shock jock, but over the past 40 years, he has changed what he's been thinking, and he says something that is pretty outrageous. He said, if you want to change ISIS, and you said it, grab him by the balls, you know what that means? Throw pornography over there.
What are you talking about?
That will change their ideology.
No, it won't.
No,
Yeah. I
No,
think
it won't at all.
them.
No,
Huh?
it won't.
They do that shit all the time right now in North Korea. The South Koreans always send balloons of propaganda, and they put porn magazines in there and stuff like that. Now, these people are starving. If I were going to be sending propaganda over to North Koreans, I'd be sending pictures of Big Macs, pretty Asian women eating big, fat, juicy burgers with the stuff
Juicy burger. Yeah.
Just saying. That's gonna enrage them. Don't forget, these people are involved in Sharia law, and I'm not an expert on it, but basically it's like the complete opposite of if anyone studied any type of version of the Quran. It has nothing to do with it.
Okay.
You know,
All
Anthony,
right.
you were like one of the first people that I've heard say anything remotely like that, because I mean I've been Phil is on this one specifically because he remembers my anti-monotheism phase, and recently I've been studying quite heavily and did have some time to read from the Quran, did have some time to do
Well,
research.
remember though, when you're reading it, if you're reading in English, you're not really reading it. You're reading an interpretation of it.
Oh yeah, I know.
Unless you read it from the Holy Word.
And trust me, my Arabic is horrible, but
Mine is too. So I can get around, but I can't read it.
right. But it's one of those things where you go out and we Americans have been given this vision of Islam and ISIS. Like, you can't say one or the other without immediately jumping to ISIS. Like, you can't say Islam, you can't say Muslim, you can't say
Right.
you can't say Allah Akbar. And
But they're missing the big thing is radical and zealot. We have this thing. Christians were the same way. I mean, they stacked the Muslims' head up back in the 2,000 years ago when they did the
Crusades.
They stacked up their freaking heads on and made a head fence. Whereas Islam, when they took back over, made them pay taxes.
Oh,
And
you see,
they were
that's
considered up until recently the most peaceful religion in the world.
well, they still are. I mean, well, no, I think
Nah.
you can't call first of all, you can't call any like you can't call any monotheism. You can't compare them, because it's like, well, let's look at this. Who's the most docile religion on the planet?
I mean, they were the ones that hadn't really done a whole lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you study anything, though, you start with, I would say, the Torah.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing.
And then you read the Bible, and then you go into the Quran, because I mean, they go in sequence. And plus, was it the first 24 prophets are all Christian Catholic prophets?
Yeah,
Jesus
and
Christ,
that's
the prophet.
that's in the Quran. That's
Yes.
in the Quran. The Quran is the last of the series. Like, it's like a 3-part book. Like
The first prophets weren't Catholic, weren't Christian.
they were Hebrew, but
But-
what are you saying?
They're all in the Christian Bible. All of them.
Yeah, but they're all Jewish.
If you're a Christian and you believe in Jesus Christ, he's one of their prophets. He's I think I want to say it was number 11 or number 17.
Hold on, back me up. Who was the prophet?
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ was not a prophet.
You got to remember, I'm not saying the one of them.
Jesus Christ was not a prophet. Jesus Christ was not a prophet at all.
Okay, what book are you reading?
John 3:16. Jesus was
Yeah,
God.
we're talking about the Quran, buddy.
Oh, you're talking about the Quran. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. In the Quran, Jesus was a prophet.
Indeed.
Yes.
But so
We're trying to say how everything is so interrelated.
Gotcha.
and they are.
I
mean,
agree. There.
That's the thing. There's actually a new thing going on in I can't remember whether it's Nebraska or one of these other places, but it's called the Tri-Faith
Oh, really?
organization. Yeah, where it's the Jewish. I think it's a synagogue. There's a Christian ministry, and then there's a mosque, all built on the same property, and they're all working together to develop this facility, this learning, this church, this thing, and it's pretty cool. Check it out. It's trifaith.org.
Tri-Faith Initiative?
Yeah, the Tri-Faith Initiative. And when I saw that,
Nebraska.
yeah, when I saw that, I was like, "Oh man, this is fantastic." But that's the problem there, Phil. I mean, just how like as soon as he said Jesus was a prophet, I knew where he was talking. He was saying in the Quran, Jesus is a prophet. Jesus is a very respected prophet in the Quran.
Very respected.
In the Quran, he's actually more respected than anyone else, like even Muhammad. And like the base understanding, that the thing that gets me a lot with all these people are like, you remember in I remember a while ago in Texas when there was a huge outpour and there was all that stuff that we found out now has, Benghazi had nothing to do with this, but it was, they were saying that people were outraged because they were drawing pictures of Muhammad, and the whole point is, Muhammad didn't want to become Jesus. He didn't.
But that was done as like a slap in the face for freedom of speech. I mean, because it was right after they killed that French writer in France.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Joshua.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Well, that was the point. So Texas was trying to be like, yeah, we're Texas, which is still funny because
they still are Texas.
Right. Everywhere else in the world, terrorists show up and blow up things, and 14 people die. And Texas is the only place where terrorists apparently show up because they're offended, and no one dies but the terrorists.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what happens, though. I'm sorry, when you don't restrict people.
Yeah, don't mess with Texas. But that's the thing is again, we've got this misinformation. We have to be able to work through it. Just like you were going on with that article about El Chapo. You gotta dig deeper. You gotta ask the questions. You got to have a conversation about the topics and the events.
Yeah, but what about journalistic integrity? I mean, come on.
Seriously? You think journalistic integrity actually exists on the planet?
That was back in the 30s, man.
Yeah, journalistic integrity no longer exists because now you don't have celebrities. Like go and watch the Ron Burgundy series. Okay, the two movies. Okay, that's exactly what it is. Infotainment. It has nothing to do with getting you the real information. It's maybe we talked about this last week. There's maybe a 5% connection where it's 5% of the news media is actual news and the rest of it is just commentary.
And
yeah, because you're right. Because I find myself watching like BBC as much as I don't like it, but you want to know what's going on in the world, you gotta watch them.
I read Al Jazeera. So
they post some stuff too. I remember when I was on Al Jazeera. That was pretty funny.
Wow, man!
Us being on Al Jazeera.
Wow.
I don't know what all the Arabic stuff is on the bottom. Probably saying that we're evil and everything, but
I've done a couple of interviews for Al Jazeera. I've done, and it was a pretty good experience. I mean, it was all in my
They've gotten a lot better, but 10 years ago, man, they were pretty.
They were pretty biased or radical.
They were very hardline.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's bring it back. So
GOP.
The GOP debate. The GOP debate. So Phil and I were having this conversation before we actually switched over, before we hit the record button on this thing. The Donald Trump. Everybody's like, well, Trump this, Trump that, Trump this, and Trump that. And we were talking, we were saying, and Phil said, you know what, I'm voting for Donald Trump. I said, it doesn't really matter who you vote for. At this point, Donald Trump is either going to be president of the United States or he's going to own the president of the United States.
Yeah. So either way you vote, you are voting for Donald Trump.
Well, you know what I don't like is when they say people are like, oh, all Trump supporters are uneducated, backwoods idiots. there are so many college-educated people that are like, I like him because he's airing out the dirty laundry. He's going against the grain. He's saying things that, I'm
Then
sorry, a lot of people are thinking but won't say or are too afraid to say
what did
because
I say, Charles? What did I say?
He said, I mean, Phil said the same thing. Phil said the same thing,
Yeah.
and he made a
I mean, I
connection.
don't want to build a wall, and I don't want to make it so hard Bush Jr. did that, and that's why we lost all our great medical minds. They all went to Switzerland to study. I mean, that's, you want to go study now, medicine and innovative things. You don't come to America. You go to Switzerland.
Yeah, well, I found that out earlier today. I was looking for degree programs because I want to get I want to have a specific level of degree, and I haven't found an American college that's doing it yet, or is doing it correctly. And I'm like, man,
You want to look for an apologetics program.
a what?
An apologetics program.
What is an apologetics program?
Apologetics is defending and studying other faiths.
Apologetics. I might have to look that up.
Apologetics.
Apologetics.
Because that just sounds.
I'm going a totally different way with that one. I thought he was actually joking too.
Yeah,
No,
I was like, what?
apologetics is studying other faiths so that you can increase the faith that you know.
I'm Googling this, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was just called theology.
No, that's studying a certain path of
The Christian Apologetics and Research Ministry is a branch of Christianity. Well, wait, back up. Is a branch of Christianity that deals with the defense and establishment of the Christian faith. No.
No. Hold on, Charles. Keep digging deep.
Yeah, apologetics is a branch of the Christianity that deals with the defense and the establishment of the Christian faith. Christian apologetics is something every true believer should be involved in, if it is only a little. But the sanctity of Christ, it's. Yeah, I don't think that's it. What I'm looking for.
I'm talking. That is Christian apologetics, but you're wanting to do religious apologetics.
Oh.
What I'm looking for.
I'm actually going for a theology degree. That's the idea.
Okay.
Theology/sociology degree. But
okay.
At least that's the plan. So what else did we have happen? Oh,
well, we had the affluenza guy, escape because he broke probation, and we do not know where he is as of today.
He's in Cabo.
Oh no, he's not in Cabo. He's probably in some place like Switzerland where they can't extradite him. Maybe Cuba. Maybe North Korea.
Nobody goes to Cuba.
No, huh?
Nobody goes to Cuba.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
but people,
didn't they just open that up so that now America can fly there?
We can select few, but there's still that number of people. Like you go to anywhere in the world, there's a certain number allowed, and if you're a military or former military, it pops up on a database, and then they restrict you as well.
Yep, they sure do. Because I was going to go play golf in China, and because
there were
of
too many Americans or too many American soldiers in there at the time or something.
Yeah, so I got to get a special. I got to get a special visa to just go play golf in Shanghai.
Yep. Or you could just get a better
because you're
hobby.
military trained.
Yes.
Which if you get it like Switzerland, everybody has to be military trained, and everybody gets issued a weapon, and everybody has to go qualify once a year.
Well, see, that was something else that I think was talked about during the debate, wasn't it? Was the education thing?
Well, they talked about education, but they didn't talk about I don't know if they talked about gun.
Well, I forget who it was or when it was said, but somebody, I think it was
Our
Huckabee.
biggest problem is we still do the tracking system
Tracking system
from the '60s, where they track people, and if you do this, if you fill this one bubble out in a test, you end up being tracked to go on to, say, be a plumber, or lower than that, a ditch digger, or you're going to go to college. Whereas in this day and age, just to even become a plumber, you do your apprenticeship, but you actually go to like Hudson Valley and get some form of a college degree.
Yeah, so when I got married, I moved to England, and I had to fill out all that, and I had my degree. And if I didn't have my degree, well, they probably would not have let me in because I would have 9 times out of 10 their thinking is, well, you don't have a college degree, you'll probably be living on the state's
Exactly.
money within the next 5 years. But because you have a college degree, well, come on in because you will be able to help us.
But I
And
mean,
because
my numbers might be off, but I think it was like we had like 200 million jobs that went unfilled in the U.S. because nobody was smart enough to fill them,
It's not even a matter of smart. It's
or qualified, I think was the word they
now
used.
again, that's something
it's
that drives
reality,
me
Charles.
up the wall. That drives me crazy. Like my daughter and I, we were driving around the other day, and she's been begging me since before Thanksgiving, can we get food and clothes and all these things and take them around to homeless people? And I have an apprehension to that because giving to homeless people is 4 out of 5 of them are scammers, and that one person who actually might want something, might actually want to change their lives, you can tell. But we go back out and we hand it. She was like, I want to give this guy some food. And she said, I want to give him money. And I said, no.
No money.
We're not giving him money, but we've got food in the car. You can give him that. We came back around and she went to hand the guy something and he said, no, thank you. And I was like, well, he's clearly not that much in need.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Exactly.
in this country, it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with the lack of jobs. It's not that there aren't jobs. It's not that there aren't qualified people.
In my line of work now, I mean, we get called. I just got called for someone whose kid fell.
They dial 911. My kid fell.
My kid fell, and it wasn't like I fell down a whole flight of stairs. He slipped and fell going up a step.
You got a 911 dial for that?
Are you kidding me? We got another guy that calls us 2-3 times a day because his mental disorder is he eats too much and he calls us for a stomach ache.
Wow.
I mean, that's not even the most outrageous. That's just this stuff we do every day. That's not I even step back and go, I can't believe we were called for that. And when you look at it, I mean, you got $1 million worth of equipment out there. You've got 3 highly trained, highly educated medical personnel. I mean, all of us
And
now,
then
to
we got Anthony.
be a fireman, you got to have a college degree now. And you got cops showing up. You got EMS. You got an ambulance showing up with guys. I mean, it's such a drain on the system, and you wonder why when you call 911 and the cops are 3-4 calls deep. So we'll come to you when we come to you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when we get some psycho patients that come after us, and we're calling for cops, we're sometimes on our own. There's none available.
So what do you? So okay,
We've made it just like today we had someone that wouldn't ride in the ambulance because she was claustrophobic, and we said, okay, well, you don't really need an ambulance. You didn't need to call us, so why don't you just take a cab? She said, okay, when's the cab getting here?
You can't ride in an ambulance because you're claustrophobic, but you'll get into a cab.
You'll get into the cab.
So we were like, I don't know. It's whenever you get done calling it.
Yeah, right.
She's like, what? You're not going to call it for me? And we were like, no, and we're not going to feed you either.
It's not what we do here.
I mean, that's the society we created. I mean, we're at like 3-4 generations now that's all they know.
Entitlement.
And unfortunately, as I can speak till I'm blue in the face to these young kids, but unfortunately, in the hands down, it's the truth. I'm the wrong color.
What do you mean?
They don't want to listen to me. I'm a white guy in a uniform.
So you're the system because you're a white guy in the uniform. You're the man.
I represent that. Yeah, I'm dead serious. We try a lot. We do all kinds of educational things.
So we have poverty influenza, and wealthy influenza.
Well, the
I'm just saying though is I mean, like the guy I ride with, Willie, he's black, and when he speaks, it's completely different. You should see the way they look at him. Anyone who's from that demographic, and I don't mean like black, I mean poor.
Yeah.
Poor.
I've never actually stopped to think of it that way. It was if you look over the history of things, there was that whole privileged white class and all this other wonderful things, and at one point it became where it was okay for white slaves and black slaves and Mexican slaves and all this other stuff. But then the white slaves got elevated. They were still slaves, but at least you're not black. So then you flip it around and you come forward to where I see it all the time, where there are people who are choosing the environments they're in. They're choosing to
Yes.
be the level of ignorance that they're in. They're choosing to do that, and they hate for no reason. Like it's you're white and you're in a uniform. I don't have to listen to you, you know.
Right.
And I've got buddies or that are law enforcement, and they all say to me, you know, I've been reading the news, I've been doing all these things, and you hear about all of these police doing negative things, and everybody's like, oh, this is getting out of control, it's getting out of hand. I was like, I don't think the number of
Actually, the
incidents have actually
numbers,
gone
it's
up.
actually not.
Yeah, the numbers haven't gone up. It's just the
No,
fact
I
that
mean,
we
that
live in
dude
the
in
age of.
Chicago, I mean, if you hadn't noticed, the entire government just hung him out to dry.
Well, then isn't I mean the Chicago government is a joke. I mean,
They are. They're very corrupt, but when they will blatantly on TV, just everybody from the top down was like, we had nothing to do with this. This guy, blah 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 blah, is wrong. We're gonna prosecute him to the fullest extent. I mean, that's the system working.
are you being facetious?
No, something wrong. And
Well, we just had an incident in Colorado where a cop slipped and accidentally shot someone.
I don't know
Right.
about that. I didn't
Yeah,
see
I mean, this is what I'm saying the system is flawed. The people who are doing wrong things, it's really a matter of how much money you got in your wallet. You know, it's
well, that hands down. I mean, come on, look at the athletes we got. They can get away with everything.
every time. Well,
Yeah.
it's also because the court of public opinion gets involved. We've got way more information now as citizens than we did, you know, 10,
Right.
20 or 15 years ago. So it's really hard to get an unbiased source of information right
I mean,
now.
what I'm saying though is, I mean, people were saying maybe because it took a year to get the guy, into court and be prosecuted. I mean, I just recently went to court for a girl that was hit so hard she got blown out of her shoes. It happened like 4 years ago.
Hit by what?
A car. Guy was crack. He just hit her, and we tried to keep her alive, and she died when she got on the operating table. I just went to court over that.
Wow.
That case just settled,
Wow.
which is why I can talk about it. But I'm just saying this. That they're so backlogged with so much bullshit that when you need stuff that needs to get taken care of, you can't. Between the frivolous lawsuits and the bullshit crimes, the small ones.
So what's the solution? I mean, we've got a system. We've got a system
you're talking to me, I'm
that
going to give you a real liberal solution. It's going to be, freaking legalize some of this shit,
like what?
like marijuana.
Oh, dude, move to Colorado.
We've had a couple patients that were little kids that had seizure issues, and they moved out there because they've been taking the THC out of it and nebulizing it.
Mm-hmm.
They're just getting just the plant,
Mm-hmm.
and they're having no seizures.
Yeah. Oh, that's a big deal. Like, trust me,
mean,
the medical benefits of marijuana are through the roof. The only reason that it
the
hasn't
monetary ones are too.
Oh
What is
yes.
it, like 500 million? Double check me, but I want to say 500 million people right now incarcerated on any type of petty or heavy marijuana charges.
Yeah, but and then if they legalize it all over the place, then they got to let those people get out of jail.
Exactly.
That's not how that works.
How much does it cost?
Yeah, I know that's not how it works,
That's
but
not
that's
how it
how
works at
it
all.
should
Think
work.
about there are people right now in Colorado who are still in jail.
Or-
They're going to be there
Life
for
sentences because they're strike 3 or something.
yeah. They're not getting out of prison because look, pot's now legal. No, it was seriously meant to keep the offenders in prison. I mean, now and if you don't believe that, Colorado I don't think has any. I think it's got like one county run prison or one county run jail, and anything above that is all for-profit prison. Like what?
It's for-profit ones because we have them. Oh no, we don't have any really here. Do you know of any private ones in New York? I don't know of any private ones in New York.
I don't know of any private
Everything
ones
in
in
ours
New York.
is a penal system.
Yeah, I don't know of any private ones from New York.
So I'm just saying. I mean, that would help out greatly. Are you kidding me? Here, we would release people. I mean, how much does it cost again to house an inmate?
Well, it costs a lot of money. I mean, because when the San Bernardino was going on, I heard people saying, "Man, I hope those 2 people get killed because that way we won't have to pay the taxes on."
You don't have to pay for their medical. You don't have to pay for their freaking education because they go to college while they're in there.
Yeah. Well, I saw something the other day that got me a little upset. There's a new thing where you can text your prisoner friends.
Prisoner text?
a prisoner tax.
Well, they
And
got
then,
like a prisoner dating thing too.
oh yeah,
Wow.
but now they can put prisoners on Facebook.
Wow.
But here's the problem with that, and you being a white guy, what I got really offended is because the commercial was showing a black guy in an orange jumpsuit.
Mm-hmm.
It's showing a black
Wait,
guy. I was like, hold
what?
on, huh?
Well,
What?
that's a big thing too. I wish I could find the post I watched on Facebook. It was a really good Facebook post about an angry young black kid talking about stuff about how, you know,
How the
he feels
marketing
enchanted and
does.
how he feels this and that, and then he spoke about how, you know, but yet we're the majority population in prison.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
So who are they marketing, bro?
They're marking the black men.
Yeah.
Yep. You never heard of that, Charles?
I've never heard of that. I've
Here you go.
never.
How's to cost an inmate? This is from lawdictionary.org. Between 20 and 40,000 a year to house an
Yeah.
inmate.
And that depends on where too,
Yeah, because then
because
there's another one here from the New York Times that says the city's annual cost per inmate is 170.
yep, yep. I mean, if you're being housed in Omaha, Nebraska, you're looking at 30 to 40,000. But if
Yeah,
you're being housed in New York or just down the
LA.
street here in
Yeah,
Northern Virginia, first of all, you got to buy the land. Second of all, you got to pay taxes on that land. Third of all, you got to buy the electricity, and everybody uses electricity, and they charge me and you for that, and it's more to buy that stuff in cities like.
well, you know what's funny too is if you actually, I took a couple criminal justice courses in New York, and every time they're on it, there's all these laws that are still on the books in New York that say that the penal system and prisoners are not to be a burden on the taxpayer. There's laws.
Well, even still, how do you pay to sustain a human being if it's not a for-profit prison? And if it is a for-profit prison, who's paying for it at
Well,
that point?
back in the day, they didn't pay to sustain them. Their families had to come and feed them and take care of them, and that was that. They didn't just put you in the jail, and that was that. They just made sure you were there. They didn't give a shit what you did.
Hmm.
You could live, you could die, whatever. Your family had to take care of you. They had to come and bring you uh, food, or they could pay the sheriff to give you extra treatment.
Hmm.
Wouldn't happen there, Jack.
But I mean, to keep people from going to prison, I mean, that legalizing marijuana would do that quickly. I mean, how many young kids that are getting horrible rap sheets and they can't go to college or they can't qualify for this because they've got a simple little pot charge?
Pot charge, exactly. Because
Just,
they're trying to feed their families or pay some kind of bill.
or that's what, unfortunately, that's all they know too. They don't, you know what I mean? If all you know is that, and you grow up watching that and seeing that, and that's everything to every day, what else do you know?
Well, it's that ideology. This music that they're listening to is always glorifying that stuff too.
Well, that's what sells the records.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all about money. They don't. Half of those guys don't do that. I mean, what is it, 50 Cent's like the only real freaking gangster these days.
Uh-huh.
No, actually, he's not even a gangster. 50, there's a book that you should read. It's
Mm-hmm.
called the 50th Law.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about 50 Cent and how he used the perceived reaction of his competitors to actually make them look foolish, like to the point where
Yeah.
like, he had one of his albums, like he purposely leaked one of his albums and made it look like somebody else did it, and then like staged his outrage by destroying his office and making sure somebody put that up on Twitter, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh man, he just went off, look at this, bam, and it went viral.
He's smart.
He is.
50 is a genius.
Just saying. I mean, what is he? I mean, he's smart, but I mean, he sees a weakness. He's basically psyop in his own community. I mean, he sees a
Yeah,
weakness, he's exploiting it.
he's exploiting it because there's a lot of money in the poor neighborhood.
They will. I go to these houses and there's $500, $600, $700 Michael Jordan stacked.
Right.
Boxes of Jordan stacked, but yet dude, you ain't got no electricity.
You ain't got
Right.
no.
I live in a I live in the projects, but I got $500 drapes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's got a PS4 and a 60-inch flat screen.
And a new car.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily.
Well, they got a car note, I can tell you that.
If they got a car, it's a crappy car, but then they got like $5,000 rims on it.
5,000 and a booming stereo.
Mm-hmm. All bought on credit. Easy own.
Easy and see that easy own. My grandma, I mean, now we are so far off the GOP. My grandma is a victim to that Rent-A-Center. You know, I offered to buy her. She used to call me all the time. Can I get $25? Can I get $50? I was like, why? I gotta pay my Rent-A-Center. I gotta pay my Rent-A-Center. I went down there and I said, why don't you let me buy you a TV?
Mm-hmm.
The TV will cost me $300. Well, it's not
in that Rent-A-Center. You've paid it over 3 times.
As she said, the TV is, but it won't be as big as the TV that I can rent.
You really need a bigger TV.
After that, Charles, I gave her no more money.
I'd have been like, what are you doing, gaming? What, you need your Halo guy to be the size of you?
You know? Yeah.
Let me introduce you to a projector. This is how this really works.
She wanted a 60-inch. She wanted a 60-inch flat screen TV.
Like when I was single and not married and not having kids, I had a 60-inch.
Well, when we were single, and I remember living in the barracks. I remember living in the barracks where all
that's all you did. You spent your money on that shit. Booze, women, and electronics.
It was like, that's it. You didn't need it for anything.
You're talking about living in the barracks. That means you had a job. You see what I'm saying? My grandma ain't got a job.
Wait, is it your grandmother or your wife's grandmother?
No, my wife's grandmother's dead. My wife's grandmother was rich, but why you think I'm still alive?
You hear what he said? You hear what he said?
Now I know how he wanted to go to England and this and that and China.
Yeah,
must be nice over there, Silver Spoon.
Yeah, because you represent you're that 1%er, aren't you?
Yeah,
it's platinum spoon over here, my friends.
It's what? It's a platinum spoon.
Platinum, whoa.
Platinum spoon. Although, I mean, have you not noticed the man is like, yeah, I was trying to go to Japan or to Korea or something to play golf.
China, Shanghai.
Right?
Yeah,
I was trying to play golf.
Well, to be honest with you, boys, we don't have retirement worries over here.
You don't have well, no. You have retirement worries. Your wife and children do not have retirement issues.
Yeah, better stay married to that, right?
Nice to the wifey, he doesn't either.
That's it. She has what I have, and I have what she has. But yes, back to my grandpa. You're talking about living in the barracks. That means you had a job to pay for what you wanted. And my grandma, she doesn't. And she's in that poverty.
Real quick, though. Did your grandma work for the last, 40, 50 years?
My grandma has never worked.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Wait, okay, so there's a core issue now. That's something I've never heard about it actually crossing that age gap. But you hear about people who are like, I don't want to work, but I want to be taken care of. I would much rather get this TV from Rent-A-Center than actually work for a couple of days to pay cash for what I'm looking for.
Exactly.
And it's shocking to me.
Was she a housewife? I mean, because he's talking about his grandmother. That's a totally different generation, train of thought. She was raised to be a certain way.
Right. She was raised to be a housewife.
Yeah, my grandma there are 13 kids with 5 different dudes.
But she worked full time.
Yeah, that's a full time job. I mean, you know.
My grandfather got lynched in 1968.
Jesus.
And yeah, exactly. Both my grandfathers got lynched by the KKK in 1968.
And now you play golf.
And now golf is not a white man's sport, boys.
I didn't even say anything. I didn't say anything. I
don't
say anything about the color. I didn't say anything about your color. I didn't say anything about it being a white man's game. I said, and now you play golf. The struggle is real.
I like this guy, Phil. He's funny.
My $1,100 clubs. I'm trying to get some new ones now.
I could use new clubs.
Right. This is the income inequality gap in America right here. The income inequality right there. Phil doesn't work. He doesn't really work. He walks around his house. You know,
I'm at 4:30 in the morning, and I work till 12:30, and I play golf from 12:30, 1 o'clock until I don't know, until dark. Yeah, every day.
So what you're telling me is you get up in the morning, you lie to your wife that you're actually going to go to work. You go to this place and pretend like it's work. You sit, you twiddle your thumbs, you spend maybe 30 minutes. You know, and then you take an hour and a half lunch break. Okay.
Dude, are you looking in my window?
Then you come back. You pretend to do some work for again another 30 minutes, and you wait for the clock to run down, and then you go and play golf until it's about time, until it's dinner time.
I did that today.
Right.
No, I'm writing stuff.
Call your wife. I'm gonna call your wife.
I'm doing some stuff.
I'm like, you need to get rid of this silly brother right here. You need to just get rid of him. I can hook you up with somebody.
Like, I believe in polygamy.
Yeah.
Just get everybody. You can get anybody you want and have a good time.
Dude, that's what I did today. Because they brought me in to write test cases for all this software.
You're still doing that.
Dude, this stuff is cake to me. But I'm also doing apps on the side. But
good for you. I mean, if you find something that's easy and you get paid for it and you don't have to work a whole lot, good for you.
See, Charles, you got some good friends over there.
Well, you know, I mean, I try to avoid working, but apparently that's just not in my cards.
I do too, but then I end up working more.
It's hard. It's hard work avoiding work.
Yeah, I'd rather just work and be done.
Yeah, work, call it done, get it done right, leave.
What I did today, I downloaded a movie on my Android, took it into work, watched it while I was working, and decided, well, all right, everybody's gone. It's time for me to go too.
It's time for me to go play golf.
Mm-hmm.
It was too cold to play golf today, so I came home and I went to sleep.
Well, gentlemen, we are coming up on the end of our first hour. It just kind of
And I'd like to also state that we got completely off the subject.
Beyond off the subject. So, like the subject.
Three guys with probably undiagnosed ADD talk.
Oh, no, I got diagnosed ADD.
I was gonna say, it's not, I don't think it's diagnosed. I think it's diagnosed with I don't think it's undiagnosed. I think all of us are like, oh, look, squirrel.
Yeah. Shiny thing.
You know, something shiny. So, gentlemen, we have a choice. At this point, we can continue on in our unstructured conversation, or we could end the conversation and figure out and do what I want to do eventually with this, and I can use you guys as my guinea pigs really quick.
Well, I'm gonna have to sign off.
He's like, I'm gonna sign off. No guinea pigging for me.
No, seriously, I need to sign off. I mean, we actually had an hour lull. I need to finish some paperwork. I got a couple of reports I got to finish.
All right. Well, you go do what you got to do, and Phil, I will talk to you another time, and we will keep up with it, guys. Check it out. Share it with your friends. You can see these will be up live on the website on WTFAmericaNews.com. It's actually also available in iTunes. Just search for WTF America. Or go out on YouTube and you can find the raw video on it before I do all of my edits. Now the intros and everything else get added later. That's a beautiful thing about podcasts. But I will go ahead and I will click the end button. Good night to everybody else out there who may be listening to this at one point in your life. I hope if we can get it all together. And check us out on WTFAmericaNews.com.
Oh.